Another element that you will find on Path of Liberation retreats is the opportunity to take refuge. The act of taking refuge is considered the starting point for formal Buddhist practice, and it marks the moment at which one is said to actually become a Buddhist. So since the Path of Liberation retreats are really the gateway and the starting point for those who want to begin formal Buddhist practice within the Tergar community, offering the opportunity to take refuge is something that we typically have at every Path of Liberation retreat. So oftentimes this happens towards the end of the retreat. Sometimes it's paired with other teachings. But in essence, really what the act of taking refuge and the formal ceremony of taking refuge involves is a commitment to awakening to one's own true nature. So as I mentioned, the essence of Buddhist path, as it's taught by Mingyur Rinpoche, revolves around exploring one's own awareness and the very nature of awareness. So in taking refuge, what one is ultimately looking toward for that source of inspiration, guidance, for that source of feeling whole and complete, is actually one's own true nature. So what one is taking refuge in is then one's own true nature on an inner level. And on an outer level, one is taking refuge in the Buddha as one's outer source of guidance and support, in the Dharma as one's path, or the teachings that we follow in practicing the path of awakening, and the Sangha as one's community of support that helps nurture and support one as one treads the path of awakening. So there's a formal ceremony that we offer in the Tergar community and that we typically have at these Path of Liberation retreats, where you actually can formally affirm your commitment to Buddhist practice, and you'll typically receive a refuge name, which is kind of your Buddhist name in practice. And there's, again, a small ceremony that takes probably about 15 or 20 minutes typically. And so everybody who goes to a Path of Liberation retreat will have the opportunity to do that. It's not to say you have to do that. Some people might go to a few retreats before they decide formally to take that step, but that will always be given as an opportunity. And for those who actually want to begin practicing the Path of Liberation, then that actually is a prerequisite to begin doing those practices. So along with the pointing out instructions on the nature of mind and the transmissions for doing the Ngundro practices, taking refuge actually is one of the necessary steps that you would want to take before you actually begin doing the formal path of practice in the Tergar community, which Mingyur Rinpoche has laid out and spelled out as the Path of Liberation.